The WWE Draft just concluded. Guys, my name is Ango. I'm going to bring you guys all of the draft picks. I'm going to tell you guys what went down. I'm going to give you some of my thoughts, whether or not I think WWE made a good decision, bad decision, and so forth. If you guys want more videos like this, go ahead and click that subscribe button. Please keep in mind that WWE will do more draft on Monday Night Raw. Plus, they actually made an announcement for tomorrow on Peacock, so we'll get to that in just a second. But overall, I thought this was actually a really solid draft. I'm not going to lie, I was on Twitter, and I saw Triple H start making the picks, as you guys can see in this photo here. And I was kind of nervous that Triple H was just going to do the picks the entire night. Obviously, we didn't have GMs that were announced or anything like that. But I thought for sure, at the very least, Triple H was making picks throughout the entire night, and that actually wasn't true. In fact, WWE had legends come in. We saw RVD, we saw Michael Hayes, we saw JBL, we saw Shawn Michaels and Road Dogg, and I think that was actually a good. It wasn't perfect in my opinion, but it was a good start. Nonetheless, we got some really nice draft picks. SmackDown, as of right now, going off of the air from SmackDown, I feel like SmackDown has definitely, it's a game changer, right? So WWE Smackdown tonight drafted Roman Reigns, Edge, AJ Styles, Bobby Lashley, Solo Sikoa, Montez Ford, Angelo Dawkins, Luke Gallows, Carl Anderson, and Michin. So the cool news is the OC are all back together. It's all four of them, which I think it's the right call to have Mia Yim in this group. I like the idea of WWE doing faction warfare. Having her in the group was great. They also did a segment where the OC came out to cut out a promo. The Viking Raiders came out and wanted to start some stuff, and then basically AJ Styles directed them to take care of business, in which they did. AJ Styles is back. Obviously, that's exciting. Just overall very happy to see that he's back and he's healthy. WWE Smackdown also drafted Bianca Belair, who is the Raw Women's Champion. That's going to be interesting. Bayley, Dakota Kai, Io Sky, Alba Fire, and Isla Dawn. What really wonderful surprise to see that the women tag team champions from NXT have been called up. And I just thought that was a really cool thing for WWE to do a live camera feed of those in the Performance Center. We saw Alba Fire, Isla Dawn. They're the women tag team champions, and they're going to compete. They actually used that time to set up a tag team match against Katana Chance and Kaden Carter for NXT next week. I just thought that was a really nice touch to promote next week's episode of NXT. But yeah, this was a really cool thing to see that they've been called up. You know what I mean? And it was nice to see a genuine reaction from everybody. But the NXT Call Ups didn't stop there. WWE Raw obviously had less people drafted tonight, but that is because WWE Raw next week will obviously have more picks. Cody Rhodes was drafted to Raw, Drew McIntyre, Shinsuke Nakamura, Matt Riddle, The Miz, Imperium, so Gunther, Giovanni Vinci, and Ludwig Kaiser. They're going to Raw, so the IC title is coming to Raw. A lot of people are already bitching and complaining and moaning about Cody going to Raw. Guys, I said it. I think Cody still goes back to Roman Reigns, and the way for them to do that is by having Cody win the Royal Rumble. Now, some people might not like that idea. I think if Cody enters number one in the Royal Rumble, wins the Royal Rumble, challenges Roman Reigns, you get that massive big-time match for WrestleMania 40, and I support that greatly. Raw also drafted Becky Lynch, and then Indy Hartwell, the current NXT Women's Champion, was also drafted to WWE Raw, which, again, that was just a really cool moment to see Indy Hartwell get drafted. You saw her hug Grayson Waller, and just everything seems so genuine. It seemed like she was genuinely shocked, and I just think that's a really cool thing to see those types of reactions on live television. Definitely SmackDown has the better part of the roster, but here's the thing too. WWE announced that tomorrow morning on Peacock, they're going to do SmackDown Lowdown, and the rest of night one available draftees will be announced tomorrow. So here's the thing. There are tons of people who are eligible for the draft now, and they're still eligible, right? So we know Candice LeRae, Chelsea Green, Sonya Deville, Dexter Lumis, Dolph Ziggler, Hit Row, Lacey Evans, Maximum Male Models, Mustafa Ali, Natalia, Omos, and MVP, Viking Raiders, and Valhalla. Plus, don't forget, we could still see potential surprises tomorrow for the draft. And these are just going to be for the night one people that were part of the draft pool, right? And I actually like that. I think that's a really cool incentive for us to go and watch the WWE draft on Peacock. And for me, I see a lot of people asking questions because there are definitely some concerns, right? You see Bianca Belair, she's the current Raw Women's Champion. She's on SmackDown. Well, Rhea Ripley did not get drafted yet because she wasn't available for draft tonight. She is available next Monday. Are they doing a title swap, right? I think that's, for me personally, I think if you're WWE, you don't even have to do a title swap. Just retire the SmackDown and Raw Women's Championship belts, right? We got a new World Heavyweight Championship belt. Let's go towards new designs for the tag team title belts, and let's go towards new designs for the women's championship belts. And I think if you're the WWE, that makes the most sense. Bianca Belair obviously has her match at Backlash. Then you have Zelina Vega versus Rhea Ripley for Backlash as well. And I just think that kind of solves it without doing a good old-fashioned title swap. But I think WWE did a good job with the draft this year. Yes, I think SmackDown is definitely a little bit more lopsided after looking at it from tonight. But, when you look at what they could potentially do on Monday, I feel like everything will be a little bit more balanced out. And not just Monday, but also what we find out tomorrow on Peacock. So I think this is a good draft. I do. I think this is solid. I'm glad to see guys like Bobby Lashley are moving to SmackDown. I'm glad somebody like Shinsuke Nakamura, which, by the way, Nakamura has never been a member of the Raw roster. I'm excited to see that. Drew McIntyre being drafted to Raw. We got to talk about that World Heavyweight Championship picture. And I look at guys like Seth Rollins, guys like Drew McIntyre, guys like Shinsuke. I look at these guys and I think, wow, they could be a world champion. But on the flip side of that, I look at Roman Reigns and I need to see some good storylines for Roman Reigns. And what do you do there? And I think when you put somebody like Bobby Lashley on SmackDown, when you put somebody like Edge on SmackDown, you are creating an opportunity for some fresh stories for Roman. And I just think that's a really good move. And I think that's definitely needed considering Roman's reign, his entire reign has been so long. And it's going to continue to be drawn out. And now we saw Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens actually retain the tag team championship belts against the Usos. So to me, I'm starting to feel like this is all a really good move. Now, a lot of people have become reactionary. And this is the problem with wrestling. I stand on this, and I will probably do a deep dive on this. But I look at Twitter, and people are complaining about Cody going to Raw. I look at the same people that are complaining about Cody going to Raw are the same people that are saying that SmackDown is winning the draft and it's lopsided and Raw doesn't have a good roster. And I look at that and I just think it's somewhat of an issue, right? And, the thing is you got to let things breathe. You got to let things go into full story mode. Guys like, Brock Lesnar still hasn't been drafted. The Usos haven't been drafted. The Usos just lost their tag team championship rematch, right? So, in my opinion, you definitely need to shake things up. You definitely need to start some fresh storylines and fresh feuds and just you can do that by doing this draft. And yes, in some extent, there is going to be a little bit of a lopside. It's always been that way with a brand split, but it's not up to the roster split to decide whether the show is good or bad, right? And I think people they kind of have to disconnect from that. This idea that the people on the specific show is what's going to make or break the show. No, it's television. At the end of the day, what is going to make or break the show is the booking and the creative direction that they choose to go. So we'll see what everything looks like on Monday, but this was night one of the draft. I want to know what you guys think in the comment section down below. I thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.